Welcome back, my dear traveler. Before we begin tonight's journey, I ask just one small thing of you. Let go. Let go of the day you've carried, the thoughts, the weight, the wondering. You won't need them where we're going, because tonight we drift far from deadlines and noise into a land of sacred rivers, starlit deserts, and mountain air so still it feels like breath paused. Tonight, we travel through India, but not the India of headlines or hurried footsteps. No, this is the India of timeless mornings on temple steps, of jasmine-scented nights where the Ganges glows with floating lamps, of palaces whispered into sandstone, and silent Himalayan villages perched above the clouds. I will be your guide. But you, dear listener, you are the traveler. All you need is your imagination and your breath. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel is a doorway, a place where history hums in the background, where stories don't end, they soften. So, I gently invite you to subscribe now and join me on future voyages across the world's quietest corners. And before you drift too far into sleep, whisper below in the comments, where shall we dream next? Now, let us begin our journey on the banks of the river Ganges in Varanasi, known to some as Benares and to others simply as the City of Light. Varanasi is among the oldest cities in the world, a place that has never truly slept, not in thousands of years. And yet, tonight, she cradles you gently in her arms. Imagine yourself walking along the quiet ghats, those broad stone steps that descend into the sacred river. The night air is warm, scented faintly with sandalwood and marigold petals, drifting along the surface of the water. Somewhere nearby, a priest murmurs a prayer in Sanskrit, his voice low and rhythmic, blending into the sounds of the night. And now, my dear sleep traveler, the screen will gently fade to darkness, inviting deeper relaxation and shielding you from all light. Let go of the world, follow my voice, and allow your imagination to guide you toward peaceful sleep. And now, let us gently resume our sleep journey through this marvelous country where every whispered memory awaits beneath the hush of night. The river is slow this evening, smooth as silk, reflecting soft flickers of flame from hundreds of floating lamps. Tiny diyas, carrying whispered wishes and memories, float past like glowing fireflies set adrift. This is a place of ritual and return, where beginnings and endings are folded into one eternal stream. You might pause for a moment on one of the stone steps, the city behind you, the river before you. The moon above is pale and full, casting a silvery shimmer on the Ganges. It's peaceful here, not silent, but deeply, richly calm, as though the city itself has taken a long, slow breath. To your left, the sandstone walls of the temples rise from the earth, carved with ancient figures whose meanings stretch far beyond the reach of language. They have stood here through generations of prayer, of mourning, of celebration, unblinking and eternal. If you listen carefully, you might hear a distant sitar echoing through the narrow alleyways behind the ghats, the kind of tune that doesn't beg for attention but invites you inward. As dawn approaches, the horizon begins to glow ever so slightly, not orange, not pink, but something in between. A faint golden haze spreads across the water. You step softly into a wooden boat, aged and simple, with cushions set out for comfort. A boatman, his oar dipping silently into the water, begins to guide you down the river. As the vessel glides forward, you pass other travelers like yourself, dreamers, wanderers, pilgrims, all drawn here by something ancient, something they can't quite name. They move quietly, reverently, without urgency. On either side, the city stirs. Smoky tendrils rise from incense burners and breakfast fires. The soft chants of morning rituals begin, not loud or insistent, but carried on the breath of the city itself. You pass the Manikarnika Ghat, sacred, still, and veiled in ceremony. It is a place of passage, of return. There is no fear here, only a deep and dignified reverence for the cycle of life and release. Even in endings, there is peace. A little further downriver, the scene softens. Children laugh somewhere behind closed doors. A woman sweeps the steps of her home with practiced grace. A cow ambles along the edge of the path, unbothered by time. And as the boat continues, you lean back, allowing the rhythm of the oar and the sound of water to lull you deeper. You feel no need to look forward or back, only to remain here, in this floating moment between night and day. The city becomes a blur of ochre and gold, of echoing bells and slow conversations. Its pulse slows, as yours does. Varanasi does not demand your attention. It simply welcomes you. There is no performance here, no drama, just presence. And as your boat rounds a bend and returns to where it began, the sky above has brightened slightly. Birds call from the rooftops, and someone offers a garland of orange flowers into the river, not as an act of sadness, but of gratitude. Varanasi is not a place one visits. It is a place one remembers, even if you've never been before. Perhaps some part of you always knew it was here, waiting quietly at the edge of sleep. As you step back onto the stone steps, a breeze stirs the edge of your scarf, and the boatman nods silently in farewell. He does not speak because he knows this is not the end, only the beginning of something quieter, deeper. The city begins to fade behind a soft haze of morning. As we rise gently into the skies above, looking down one last time on the ancient river, curling like a ribbon through the folds of the past and present. Let the memory of this place stay with you, not sharp, but soft, like the sound of a temple bell in the distance, echoing long after it has been struck. From the gentle banks of the Ganges, we now drift westward to a land painted in gold, rust, and rose, the desert jewel of India, Rajasthan. Here, the earth feels ancient beneath your feet. Time dries and curls at the edges like parchment left beneath a sunlit sky. And yet, even here, where sand stretches far and wide, beauty blooms in the most unexpected corners. Let us arrive not by plane or train, but as a traveler of old, gently gliding over dunes on the back of a camel, its rhythm slow and sure, as if it too understands that here, nothing is rushed. Ahead of us, the horizon wavers in heat, yet it holds secrets. Cities that rise like mirages, forts carved into hillsides, their sandstone facades glowing amber beneath the sun, and palaces. Oh, the palaces, once homes to kings and queens, now hushed museums of splendor and whispers. First, we come to Jaisalmer, the Golden City. From a distance, it seems like a vision rising straight out of the desert. Jaisalmer Fort stands tall, not cold and severe like so many others, but warm, golden, its stone walls glowing as though lit from within. Within the fort's winding alleys, life carries on much as it has for centuries. Tiny shops selling carved wooden boxes, musicians tuning sitars, the scent of cardamom tea rising from brass kettles. It is a living citadel, not frozen in time, but flowing gently with it. You might imagine wandering its lanes, running your fingers along walls worn smooth by the passage of generations. At the edge of the fort, you pause. Below you, the Thar Desert stretches wide, not empty, but alive. Waves of sand roll like silk, rippling under a peach-toned sky. A shepherd moves through the dunes with a line of goats trailing behind him, his turban catching the breeze. As the day dips toward a twilight, we journey on to Jodhpur, the blue city. If Jaisalmer is golden, then Jodhpur is a dream in sapphire. Its houses are painted in every shade of blue you can imagine, a color once believed to ward off heat and insects, and perhaps even sorrow. High above the city, Mehrangarh Fort looms, vast, unshakable, and yet somehow gentle. Its carved windows and sweeping courtyards tell tales of poets, warriors, and royal processions beneath silken canopies. You wander its halls in silence. Your footsteps echo softly. Each room opens into another like the folds of a story. And from the ramparts, you gaze down on the sea of blue below, rooftops clustered like mosaic tiles under the fading light. Somewhere below, in a quiet courtyard, a child giggles as a peacock struts proudly across the stone. The air is warm, fragrant with bougainvillea and the memory of incense. You rest here for a while, letting the desert wind carry your thoughts away, until the city lights begin to glow softly, like stars scattered across the earth. And now we travel to Udaipur, the city of lakes. Here, the desert gives way to water, and the stillness becomes something else entirely. The city rises along the shores of Lake Pishola, its palaces mirrored perfectly in the calm waters. You arrive by boat. The oar dips silently as your vessel glides across the lake. Ahead, the lake palace appears, floating like a white lotus in the middle of the water. Once the summer home of royalty, now it sleeps beneath the stars, surrounded by the hush of lapping waves. You disembark and wander through its courtyards. Moonlight streams through marble archways. The air smells of jasmine and stone cooled by night. A musician plays softly somewhere within, a sarangi perhaps, or a flute, the melody rising and falling like breath. Udaipur is not grand in the way of empires. It is delicate, poetic, like something remembered in a dream, then half forgotten. As you walk along the lake's edge, lanterns bob on the water's surface. Temples reflect in still pools, and the night feels like a quiet promise. At last we venture to Pushkar, nestled at the foot of the Aravalli Hills, a sacred town where the divine dances with the ordinary. You stroll through its winding streets, past painted doorways and temple bells. The town is built around a holy lake, said to have formed where a lotus flower fell from the hand of Lord Brahma himself. Pilgrims bathe in its waters at sunrise, their hands cupping water and sky alike. Pushkar is not loud. It does not try to impress. It simply is, gentle, timeless, soft. You sit by the lake, watching the reflection of the stars ripple as a breeze moves across the surface. The ghats are silent now, the town sleeps, and in its sleep it breathes deeply, as do you, From Jaisalmer's golden towers to Udaipur's mirrored lakes, Rajasthan is a land of contrast, fire and stillness, color and calm. It holds history not as something buried, but as something lived. It doesn't shout, it simply glows. And now, as we rise above the desert once more, looking down on this tapestry of sand and stone, of blue rooftops and domes of white, you feel a lightness in your chest, the kind that comes only when one has wandered far and found peace. Let the memories stay soft. Let them fold into your dreams like pages of an old book. And trust that in this vast and varied land, you are always welcome. And now we arrive in India's heart, Delhi. Not merely a city, but a layered tapestry of past and present, of empires and incense, of quiet gardens tucked behind ancient walls, and the low hum of a city that never entirely sleeps. As we enter, the first light of morning warms the horizon. The city stretches awake slowly, like a cat in the sun. We begin in Old Delhi, where the centuries breathe more deeply. Narrow alleys twist like stories, lined with Haveli mansions and time-worn stone. Here stands the Red Fort, its sandstone walls steeped in memory. You step through its arched gates and find yourself inside a silent palace, its courtyards hushed, its carvings elegant but weathered. This was once the heart of a Mughal empire. Now it watches time pass with quiet dignity. Outside, the Jama Masjid rises, its domes soft in the early light. You remove your shoes, stepping onto cool marble. The vast courtyard is empty, peaceful. Birds circle high above as a soft breeze moves the fabric of prayer flags. Wander deeper, and you come upon Chandni Chowk, once a moonlit boulevard, now a vibrant maze. But tonight, it rests. The shops are shuttered, the spice air lingers. Saffron, cardamom, chili, the echoes of flavor remain, even in sleep. From the old, we shift into the new. Through broad avenues, we pass India Gate, a war memorial wrapped in silence. Its flame flickers gently beneath an open sky. You pause, just long enough to honor the hush that surrounds it. Beyond, the roads widen, trees line the walkways, and Rashtrapati Bhavan, the presidential residence, stands with regal calm. Here, Delhi breathes differently. You find yourself in Lodi Gardens just before dawn. The ruins of medieval tombs rest among banyan trees and flowering paths. A heron lifts from the surface of a pond. Joggers have not yet arrived, and in this still moment, time feels soft around the edges. Further south, we visit Humayun's tomb, a precursor to the Taj Mahal, wrapped in rose-colored stone and white marble trim. It is quiet here, the domes catching first light. The gardens are symmetrical, the walkways straight, the scent of earth and dew rising in the air. And then, Qutub Minar, rising skyward like a prayer frozen in stone. Its red sandstone fluted in fine detail, stories spiraling upward toward the stars. Delhi is not just a place, it is a bridge. Between empires and neighborhoods, between kings and chai sellers. It sings in many languages and dreams in many voices. As we leave, the city shrinks beneath us, a vast quilt of rooftops, mosques, monuments, and memories. And now we float westward, toward the sea, toward a city lit from within. We arrive now in Mumbai, India's gateway to the west, and a city built on dreams, stitched together with salt air and cinema light. Let us arrive by the sea just as traders, travelers, and poets once did. The gateway of India rises before you, grand and elegant, a stone arch facing the Arabian Sea. It watches the tides always. Tonight the waves are gentle, brushing the shore with rhythmic calm. Behind it stands the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, its dome aglow in golden light. You imagine stepping through its doors into quiet halls of velvet and echo, where chandeliers sway like underwater flowers. Mumbai hums, not loudly now, but with the deep quiet of a sleeping giant. We wander south through Colaba, its colonial buildings softened by time. You stroll past shuttered cafes and antique bookstores, their signs faded but charming. The air is thick with sea breeze, carrying the scent of brine, rosewater, and diesel, oddly poetic in their mingling. As the streets rise northward, we pass Marine Drive, the Queen's Necklace. By day, it sparkles, but at night it glows like a string of pearls laid gently upon the sea. You sit here for a moment on a stone ledge, the water stretching wide before you. Waves lap below. Somewhere nearby, a tea vendor closes his cart, the last cup of the night poured. The city behind you quiets. Next, we enter Malabar Hill, where hanging gardens rest above the city. The plants, manicured into gentle curves, are still and fragrant. A family of sleeping parrots rests in the branches. Below, the city flickers, but you remain in this quiet perch, far from the noise. Then onward to Dhobi Ghat, where laundry lines crisscross the open air. Though empty now, one can still sense the rhythm, cloth flapping in the breeze, the slap of wet fabric, the gentle labor of hands moving in harmony. We pass through Chor Bazaar, the thieves' market. Tonight it is locked and silent, but the treasures remain. Trinkets and gramophones, rusted lamps and forgotten watches. Each one a story waiting to be touched. And then the city shifts once more. We visit Bollywood, not a place so much as a pulse. The studios sleep now, the stages are empty, but the dreams linger like glitter caught in moonlight. As we move through Bandra, murals smile at you from colorful walls. Cafes flicker with candlelight. The breeze off the sea grows cooler. You walk out onto Carter Road Promenade, where the night is filled with wind and peace. Waves roll in slowly. A few night fishermen cast lines in silence. A stray dog naps near a bench, its chest rising and falling in perfect rhythm with the tide. From the colonial grandeur of Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus to the vibrant lanes of Dharavi, Mumbai contains multitudes, but tonight it offers you only the softest of them. As we rise above it all, the city gleams below like starlight trapped in a net. Not chaotic, not noisy, just full, alive, even in sleep. Let the sound of the waves stay with you, and may the city of dreams carry you gently into yours. And now, dear traveler, we drift eastward, gently toward the soft heart of Rajasthan. As dawn begins to warm the desert edges, a city reveals itself like a gemstone pulled from the folds of time. Walls of faded rose and terracotta stretch across the landscape, catching the early light and glowing like embers in quiet slumber. This is Jaipur, the pink city, not a pink of candy or blush, but one of ancient sandstone and powdered dye, a color chosen to welcome royalty and left to glow ever since. We arrive just before the world stirs, when shopkeepers are still tucked beneath their blankets, when courtyards are swept in silence, and when the great palaces breathe without a sound. You begin your walk through the old city, entering beneath the rose-hued arches of the Ajmeri Gate. Even in stillness, there's grandeur here. The buildings stand tall and uniform, dressed in the same sun-washed tone, their windows trimmed with delicate lattice work. The streets are empty for now, but hold the memory of footsteps, music, and painted elephants long past. The air is dry and cool. Somewhere a bird calls from the shadow of a minaret. You turn a quiet corner, and before you stands the Hawa Mahal, the Palace of Winds. It doesn't rise with force, but with grace. Its 5 stories curve gently like the folds of a fan, adorned with over 900 tiny windows, jarukas, carved from sandstone so finely they almost seem to breathe. This was once a place for royal women to observe the world unseen. But now, it is a dream in stone, catching the golden light and filtering it through its latticed soul. You step closer, place a hand against the warm surface. There is no rush here. Even the wind moves carefully. From the palace, you move toward the city palace itself, a complex of courtyards, chambers, and hidden stories. Its gates are painted in great sweeping arches, peacocks, lotuses, and vines curling in delicate motifs. You wander slowly beneath frescoed ceilings, past marble columns and flowering inner gardens. The Pritam Niwas Chowk, with its 4 seasonal doorways, stands silently, its peacock gate catching the morning light in soft shimmer. You find a quiet bench beneath the neem tree and rest, not because you are tired, but because Jaipur invites pause. Every surface here seems to whisper, there's no need to rush. From the city center, you glide upward, toward the hills that cradle Jaipur from the north. Here stands Amber Fort, or Amer as it's locally known, poised on a ridge like a dream carved from sandstone and mirror. You ride gently uphill, perhaps by elephant in memory, or more simply by quiet ascent. The fort unfolds in terraces and courtyards, each more hushed and golden than the last. You pass through the sun gate and the world quiets even further. The Sheesh Mahal awaits, the hall of mirrors. Even in dim light, its mosaic of glass and reflections sparkles faintly. A single candle, they say, was once enough to light the entire room. Now it holds the glow of memory, a place of whispers, of celebrations long past, and of starlight held in walls. Looking out from the high ramparts, you see the Maota Lake below, flat and still, like a silver mirror. Gardens float upon its surface, symmetrical and still, as if dreaming themselves. Back in the city, you follow the curve of the road toward Jal Mahal, the water palace. It appears almost magically sitting at the center of Mansagar Lake, half submerged, as though floating between 2 worlds. You stand by the shore. The palace's lower levels are hidden beneath the waterline, but its domes and balconies rise into view, glowing with delicate beauty. In the hush of this moment, a group of flamingos crosses the lake in slow, elegant formation. The water ripples in gentle rings, and the reflection dances briefly before returning to stillness. You sit a while. The breeze lifts the edge of your scarf. The sun dips ever so slightly, drawing long shadows across the pink walls of the city. And so you walk, past shuttered stalls and artisan workshops where block printers rest their hands, past lassi vendors with brass cups stacked neatly beside them, past temples where the faint clang of a bell marks a private prayer. Jaipur does not shout, it welcomes. Its beauty is not in spectacle, but in rhythm, the repeated motif of arched windows, the orderly petals of a Rangoli drawing, the slow swirl of a sari in the evening wind. You pass through Bapu Bazaar, though tonight it is closed. The scent of spices and sandalwood still clings to the air. Bolts of fabric rest folded in shadow, and overhead, strings of paper lanterns twist gently, though no one is there to see them. As the day draws to a close, the city lights begin to twinkle, not in rows, but in soft scatter, like embers caught between dusk and sleep. From above, Jaipur looks like an ancient painting, brushed in tones of rose, cream, and soft flame. You float higher, letting the image blur softly until it folds into memory, gentle and warm. In Jaipur, nothing chases you. Everything invites you. A palace, a prayer, a quiet pool of water, each one saying in its own way, "Rest here, traveler. You are safe." And now, we drift northward, rising steadily, breath by breath, toward the towering quiet of the Himalayas. The lowlands fall away behind us, cities, palaces, rivers, all dissolving into the distance like stories left beneath a closing book. Before us now, only mountains, ancient, immovable, snow-dusted and hushed. Here in the high places, the air is crisp and clear. It carries no sound but the rustle of prayer flags and the low murmur of distant streams. The villages here are few and far between, tucked into valleys, perched on cliffs, folded beneath thick pine and birch. We arrive first in Kasol, a tiny hamlet resting beside the Parvati River. The water moves quickly here, tumbling over smooth rocks, cutting through pine forests, and wrapping the village in a cool, continuous hush. Wooden houses built low and close line the gentle slope. Some are painted blue, others red, all softened by time. Chimneys smoke faintly, curling skyward as if the homes themselves are sighing. You walk along the path beside the river. To your left, forest. To your right, water. The only sounds are wind through needles and your own breath. Further along, you pass a shepherd with a shawl wrapped tight against the chill. He nods to you, not as stranger to stranger, but as one traveler to another. No words are needed here. The silence is sacred. Beyond Kasol, we follow the winding road up to Kalpa, nestled in the shadow of the Kinnar Kailash range. The peaks above are streaked with snow, their edges glowing pink in the last light of day. Here, apples grow in quiet orchards, their trees twisted and sturdy from years of mountain wind. You pause beside a wooden temple, its roof edged in gold. A bell swings lazily in the breeze, its soft clang melting into the dusk. From the temple steps, you look out. The valley spreads below like a woven carpet, hills stitched with terrace farms, narrow paths, and dots of homes with smoke trailing upward. Night falls faster here. As the sun dips, the mountains darken into silhouette. The stars arrive early, clear and close. You rest for a while on a stone bench near a wall of prayer wheels. One by one, you pass your hand across them, each wheel spinning gently, sending a quiet wish into the mountain wind. From Kalpa, we journey even deeper to the remote village of Tawang, near the borders of Bhutan and Tibet. Here, the landscape changes. The buildings take on a Tibetan style, flat-roofed, whitewashed, with red and saffron borders. Monks in crimson robes walk quietly between courtyards, their heads bowed, their steps deliberate. The Tawang Monastery, one of the largest in India, rests upon a hill like a crown. Its golden roof gleams beneath the moonlight. Inside, the walls are painted in deep blues and reds, each brushstroke telling a story. Butter lamps flicker softly in rows. You remove your shoes and sit on a low cushion. The scent of yak butter and incense surrounds you. A chant begins in the distance, low and resonant, not performed, but offered. It vibrates through the floorboards, through your spine, through the very air, and you too become still. Outside, snow begins to fall, gently, without sound. You leave the monastery as night deepens. The stars above are fierce and many, like lanterns scattered across black silk. A dog trots beside you for a while, silent as your shadow. And now, our journey takes one final ascent to the village of Spiti, perched on the edge of the world. Here, the land is barren and beautiful. Rocky hillsides, glacial streams, and the haunting expanse of high-altitude silence. Spiti is not lush nor colorful, but it is profoundly still. You arrive in Khyber, one of the highest inhabited villages on Earth. The wind is thin and the world feels far away. Yet here people live simply and gently. Homes are made of stone and earth, with flat roofs piled high with kindling. You are welcomed into one, a small kitchen warmed by a clay stove. The tea is served without ceremony, but with great care. You sip it slowly. It tastes of mountain milk and dried herbs. You feel it warm you from the chest outward. A window nearby reveals the valley below, so vast it seems painted in place. The host places a woolen blanket across your lap, says nothing, and returns to their own quiet corner. You sit together in peace. This is what the mountains teach, perhaps, not how to speak, but how to listen. As the fire dies down, you step outside once more. The snow has stopped. The stars above are almost blinding now. And as you look out across the Himalayas, jagged, endless, wise, a deep calm settles over you. You have wandered through rivers and deserts, palaces and cities, and now you have reached the sky. There is no higher place to go, only deeper. Let this village remain with you. Let it settle somewhere inside you, quiet and vast, like the space between snowfall and breath. And now, dear traveler, we prepare to return, but not quite yet. Let us rest here, just a little longer. And so, my dear traveler, our journey comes to a close. From the sacred banks of Varanasi to the golden dunes of Rajasthan, from the pink palaces of Jaipur to the starlit rooftops of Mumbai, and now, at last, resting in the embrace of the Himalayas. India has offered herself to you, not in haste, but in quiet unfolding, like a scroll unrolled slowly in candlelight, a tale told not to dazzle, but to cradle. Each place we've wandered tonight has held its own rhythm, its own stillness, its own soft magic. None asked you to understand, only to feel. And perhaps now, as your breath slows and your thoughts begin to loosen, you'll carry with you more than just names and sights. You'll carry silence and saffron light, the hush of temples, the drift of incense, the distant call of bells. You've wandered through ancient cities, climbed sacred hills, floated across lakes, and listened to chants that seem older than time. And now, finally, you've arrived at the most peaceful place of all. Stillness. Let the weight of the day slip from your shoulders. Let your body rest fully, like the Himalayas themselves, unshaken, grounded, whole. You've nothing left to do. No trains to catch, no temples to find, no markets to explore. You are exactly where you need to be. Here, now resting. As always, I thank you for keeping me company, for trusting my voice to carry you somewhere soft and far. And if this journey brought you a moment of peace, a touch of comfort, a gentle drift into slumber, I invite you to return again. There are still so many lands to explore, so many stories whispered by wind and water, and I'll be here, waiting to tell them. If you haven't yet, I gently encourage you to subscribe to this channel so you never miss a journey. And before sleep fully claims you, if you're still awake enough to leave a comment below, tell me, where shall we dream next? Your voice helps guide our voyage, but for now, let the stars keep watch. Let the breeze sing to you in a language beyond words, and let sleep take you gently, quietly, completely. Until next time, this is Professor Thaddeus Dozesworth, wishing you the most peaceful of nights and the sweetest of dreams. Good night, my dear traveler. May the stars light your path to restful dreams.